That we have the right to vote means nothing. That we use it in the right way means everything.
I would say that before this class I was completely uninformed, and now I have a lot of views on different subjects that I feel very strongly about.
Because as they ruled in Riley v. California and U.S. v. Worry, they were able to comprehend technology and decide that smartphones should be protected under the Fourth Amendment.
The 15th Amendment, ratified in 1870, proclaims that citizens' right to vote cannot be denied by state or national governments.
One of the big things is you really learn to work as a team, and I think that's cool. You create these bonds that you won't have besides this class.
Good afternoon, my name is Anna Phillip and I'm a senior at Plainfield High School. In fact, we're all seniors at Plainfield High School.
She's picked up obviously a lot of knowledge about your Constitution, our government. Matter of fact, she was 18 already, so she's able to vote.
Our kids have been very successful in this program and they've worked very hard. These kids know how to think.
The Fourth Amendment is the embodiment of the old English maxim, a man's house is his castle. And from it we get our fundamental rights.
Let me see if I can, here's the argument analysis hitting the sweet spot. We just looked at an article today for some of the students on a study released by two Princeton political scientists about whether America is really in a democracy. And we're dealing with some high-level ideas about questioning some of our foundational pieces of America, whether we are still a democratic republic. And if we're not, why aren't we? And how do we get it back?
In all of these cases, suffrage was expanded to further the ideals in the Declaration of Independence. All men are created equal has been expanded to include women and minorities and to embody the
voters in our family, and we talk about political views and things like that. Did that before this class, but I think even more so when they got in here.
The Supreme Court ruled that women, like children, were citizens and persons in the constitutional sense, but that status did not automatically entitle either of them to vote.
And they have a real understanding of what our government should be like and what, the history. And so I think they realize how important it is to be involved, obviously voting and participating and paying attention.
The 24th Amendment, ratified in 1964, effectively abolished this poll tax, and within the next year, the Voting Rights Act of 1965 prohibited racial discrimination.
I think the biggest change has been his confidence level. He's always been a good student, but just really never gave himself the credit that he deserved. And so his confidence level from this class and his ability to speak intelligently about different subject areas, whether it be We the People or something else, I think it's just give him a new kind of air. He just kind of carries himself a little bit different in conversation and speaks much better about the subject matters because he knows the stuff.
He's had weekends, late nights, made him some very close friends doing that, but she's also learned some better study habits and learned how to do correct research.
Being widely used in 2003, however, it was not until this year when the Supreme Court ruled in the case Riley v. California that searching a phone without a warrant is unconstitutional.
Putting their position statement together, they've learned a lot, what works, what doesn't work, and maybe one of the bigger things I think helps them is, outside of a few speeches to their classmates, this is the first time they really get a chance to do public speaking in front of someone who's not a friend.
I think you learn how to work with others, which is something that's big, and I don't think you get that in other classes. But also, I think you really see what the history of our country is and what you're living around.
They learn how to debate rather than argue. They don't try to talk over each other, and that's been really a neat experience.
I think it's different for me in the fact that once we get up and running, I feel more like a facilitator as opposed to a teacher. The idea that, look at this case, look at what this article says, look at what this professor says. How does this help your argument? How does this hurt your argument?
Part of the reason it has taken so long is because the government is designed to move slowly so that things can be debated and deliberated upon, so that the decision that is made in the end is a well-informed decision by all parties.
I would have to disagree with my colleague Chloe because I believe individual rights are more important because when you protect the individual rights of people, you are there for protecting the rights of the common good.
We want to develop thinkers, and we want our kids to be able to question. And what this class does is it encourages kids to question. Don't just take what you hear as the last word. Question what's going on in society. I can guarantee you the kids who go to the We the People class through this class will be the ones who show up at the polls in the future and vote.
No, they're correct. It is very demanding. There's a lot of work, but the reward they get at the backside, the better study habits, the sense of accomplishment, the improvement, I've seen in her, just in her speaking ability and her thought process, is more than worth the effort.
I think my boys, my older kids would say that this class was as close to a college level class as they got in high school, which made them more prepared to move on.
Kid would benefit from this learning environment, and it's really challenged him beyond the normal everyday class, and just the commitment level and those things have been just extraordinary. And even for a kid that's an average student, the benefits that they could get from and see the growth that they would have just by participating in something like this is just amazing.
Well, one, I think it's important to understand for the Bar Foundation in Indiana and the Bar Association in Indiana, their support for this program, which has been fantastic, has enabled this program to be in this state to be one of the best in the nation. And now think about yourself at the beginning of the semester. What did you know? What were you passionate about? The idea that now you read Federalist Papers and you understand them and you understand the arguments.
Plainfield
So I do take a great deal of pride in the fact that my goal is to produce engaged and enlightened citizens.
But the problem is that it took 11 years for the device that we have in our hands every minute of the day to be protected under the Fourth Amendment, which is...
We the people!